skills and tools. If you've ever seen two pro boxers get into a real fight, it's not boxing any longer, right? So it's like, you know, it's like they're doing this, and all of a sudden one guy hits the other guy. You know, when the bell rang, this guy gets pissed off. All of a sudden, it's this kind of shit. They look like two grade sixers. They end up rolling around on the ground, hammering each other. Chairs get thrown into the ring. What happened to the fucking 10, 12 years? You got two world champs rolling around on the floor. Why? Look at the UFCs. The very earlier ones, outside of the grapplers who were dominating because nobody knew how to grapple at the time in 1991, 92, 93, except for the real pure grapplers. Check out the earlier UFCs and rent them. Black belt so-and-so, black belt this, black belt that, studied Penchak Salat, this system, that system. What are they doing when you're filming them at the interview? They're fucking throwing their high kicks and their sweeps, and they're like moving around, doing this in front of the camera. All of a sudden, the first earlier UFCs was truly no rules. There was no time limits, no weight division, and the only rules were no eye gouging, no biting. That was it. Everything else was permitted. Nut shots, headbutting, elbowing on the ground, everything. It's not like it is today. And so all of a sudden you get these two guys who about 30 seconds ago were doing these magnificent techniques on camera, fighting like this. And they're stomping each other in the head, and you're looking at that and going, wow, what happened to all the martial arts? Why am I not seeing this now? Now you're seeing a lot more of it because there's rules. There's consent, there's awareness, there's time limit, there's weight divisions, and so it's a lot more sport-oriented today than it was when it first came out. And so everything has changed. But read the first 3 UFCs again and watch how people are fighting. You're going to sit there and go, there's no martial arts there. About the only people who were actually doing martial arts were the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guys, Royce Gracie, the Gracies. That's it. Nobody else. Because all of a sudden, cognitive processing out the window. Uh-oh, some guy in front of me wants to kick my fucking ass and really hurt me now. It's not this any longer. And those that did try this, anybody remember Ron Van Cliff? In the second UFC or something against Royce Gracie? How long did he last in his stance? About 7 seconds. The fight was what, 30 seconds? Hey man, hats off for going in there. I have an incredible amount of respect for anyone who steps up and enters the ring. I really, really do. Hats off. I ain't making fun either, but I'm just stating a couple of obvious facts. And so you have to understand this stuff. And so what happens is that if somebody is coming up to you and he wants to really fuck you up and hurt you, then gross motor tactics and tools is all you've really got left. The only time you will have access to fine motor skills is when the predator-prey mentality has shifted, is when you deem yourself in full control again. That's about it. The second there's uncertainty or the element of the unknown, you're not going to have access to those tools. And you'll see as we go along what I mean. Are there any questions so far? Did any of this make any sense? I'm babbling.
Perfect sense.
Excellent. And so, there's a lot of talk about realism, about no consent when training, so on and so forth. And I'm a big fan of that. And the only way you're going to know if something works is if you do it. There's no two ways about it. And if you do it, your partner can't give you any consent. Because a lot of times if your partner gives you consent, then you're not learning anymore. Right? And so there's a difference between drills and learning tool and target development. And there's a difference between, hey, now it's time to find out if what we just learned works. Okay? And again, I was teaching a seminar again to another group of martial artists, and I said, how many people here have learned how to defend against a round kick to the head? And everybody raises their hands. I said, how many people here learned how to defend against a two-arm lapel grab? Everybody raises their hands. I said, oh, cool. So I called up one of the higher belt levels, and I said, over here, I said, get me in a two-arm lapel grab. This is what he did. And so I looked at him, I go, what are you doing? And he says, I'm giving you a two-arm lapel grab. I go, has anybody ever two-arm lapel grabbed you before? He's like, well, yeah, we do it in class all the time. No, I mean, like, did you ever get to find somebody actually grabbed you? He goes, well, no, but, you know, we've trained this, and I go, do you train it full out? Well, yeah, of course. I said, okay, I'm going to hold you like that, show me your defense. And so I did what he did, I did this, and so he I don't even remember, but it was something like this, and it's something elaborate. I said, do you honestly believe that's going to work? And he said, well, yeah. I said, why? Have you done it? He goes, well, we do it in training. I said, have you done it full out? He goes, well, no, but my teacher said that. And I said, hold on a second. And I said, I'm going to two-arm lapel grab you. And I said, I want you to do that technique full speed, full out. Okay? And he goes, yeah. I said, but I'm going to do it to you like people really tour on lapel grab. I said, you ready? He goes, yeah. So I did this. You motherfucking cocksucking little fuck! You got a fucking problem with you? You're fucking looking at me, you little bitch! What the fuck are you gonna do now, huh, you little fucking faggot? So I did this, and he shit himself. His hands were down, he was doing this. And so, you okay? Yeah, cool. He's used to that. I do that to him every day. I just walk out, I see him in the mall. You fucking But this is how shit happens. And so all of a sudden, all this doesn't work any longer. Because the dialogue is there, the energy is there, the verbal onslaught is there, the anger is present at the same time. And so when somebody's pinning you to a wall and hammering you, and it's constant change, there's an evolutionary process in movement. And if we don't adopt to that, then we're not going to be able to react to that. Because nobody statically does this and waits for you to move. Even if he tries to do something from here, realistically, if I was frozen there, I was going, listen, you little fuck, blah, 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 and he tries to do something, I'm just going to nail him as soon as he moves. Because I ain't going to stand there and let him do something. You have to understand that your opponent is alive. He's going to react to everything you do. I tell my students, what do you think, what would you do? Very simply, forget what you learned. Ask yourself what you would do if somebody was trying to apply to you what you learned. And think about that for a second, because when the shoe's on the other foot, it's a little different.